We are continuing the Manel Cup versus Almabayev fight card. Let's get right into it, but before we do, remember this Saturday we are doing the live watch party for the full fight card, main card and prelims to be there. Hopefully catch most, if not some of you there. But let's get right into today's video. We have Austen Lane versus Mario Pinto. Pinto is 1-0 in the UFC. His country is nothing because it's his first official fight in the UFC. Doesn't have a height record as of right now. Has a weight of 244 in his last win. Has a reach of 0 inches, a leg reach of 0 inches. We'll go on to Mario Pinto's stats in a minute. Austen Lane, who has fought in the UFC before, is 13-5-1, no contest. His country is United States. He stands at 6 foot 6 inches tall. He weighed at 251 pounds in his last win. Has a reach of 80 inches and a leg reach of 44 inches. Let's quickly move on to Mario Pinto's stats before we continue here. His height is 6 foot 5 inches tall and his reach is 79.9 inches, rounding it up to 80 inches. Now, we don't have a leg reach stats. We can't really base much off of there. Austen Lane does have an 80-inch reach on the dot, while Mario Pinto has a 79.9 inches. So Austen Lane does have a 0.1 inch advantage, but that is basically nothing. Like, it doesn't matter. Even if you can figure out your reach, Mario Pinto could probably still hit you. You'd have to be like a particle away to hit him. Moving us on to the height though, Austen Lane does have an inch in height going in his advantage. 1 inch. It's close. In heavyweight, I believe that the reach is the most important stat, because significant strikes, it doesn't matter how good you are at striking. You just got to land that one punch and it can be over if you have the power. Grappling, if you get the takedown, you're more likely to benefit, because it is so tiring having someone huge on top of you, grappling you, taking over the fight. My main key things here is reach, and they both have close enough, and the height is also close enough. So let's move on to win buys to see how they've performed and got it done in their previous fights. Mario Pinto having nothing, of course. None of his stats are recorded, but his average fight time is 2 minutes and a knockdown average of 9, which is massive. While Austen Lane has an 85% KO DQ, 8% submission, 8% decision with an average fight time of 5 minutes and a knockdown average of 0. Mario Pinto's stat is off the wall with the knockdown average. An average of 9 knockdowns within 2 minutes of fighting. It shows that you haven't secured a decision win, or at least if that's average fight time based off their previous fight, then it only went 1 minute 30 seconds. But if it is based off all their fights, Mario Pinto has never seen a decision. Austen Lane, on the other hand, who has seen a decision, has very few submissions and decisions. And I think Pinto also has a high KO TKO percentage. We'll check that out in a minute. But Austen Lane has a lot of power. His main thing by winning by is KO and TKO. But let's quickly move on to one last bit of stats before we go on to the next stats. So we're going to look at Mario Pinto first. Of course, we need to. Let me quickly move my camera. Mario Pinto has 5 wins coming by KO and TKO, 1 win by submission, and 3 wins by decision. So he has got decision wins. Therefore, the average fight time of 2 minutes is not correct. It's factually incorrect. But based off his UFC one, it would be 1 minute 43, which means he either got a knockout or he got a submission. There you go, 1 minute 43 seconds in the Contender Series, round 1 against Lucas Camacho, and it was a knockout punch. Well, a TKO, but it counts. He hasn't submitted anyone since 2022, and his last decision win was last year in the LFL. Now we're going to check out Austen Lane, who has 5 losses coming by knockout, 11 wins by knockout, 1 submission win and 1 decision win. He fought Rubelis de Spain in his last fight and he got a unanimous decision, and then Jonathan Janice beat him via a round 2 knockout. Justin Tafa beat him by a round 1 knockout, and then a no contest against Justin Tafa as well. His first fight was in the UFC 2 years ago against Richard Jacoby, or Rashad Jacoby. So basing it off their stats, they both have knockout power, that's clear. But I feel like Mario Pinto, first fight in the UFC, of course, Austen Lane didn't get his first fight. He didn't get his first win in the UFC until recently. So I feel that if Pinto wins this one, Austen Lane's really got to step up the plate to get a win, or else he's going to get cut. And if he doesn't win this one, does he get cut? I hope he doesn't get cut. He has a win. It shows he's got power. It shows that he can do stuff. But it's just worrying to look at them stats and be like, okay, Austen Lane isn't the greatest opponent to put Mario Pinto against. I mean, to be fair, Austen Lane did fight some tough fights, so we got to give him some credit there. But it shows that he isn't going to go too far if he doesn't improve at a quick rate, and we don't know how fast he can improve. But let's move on to significant strikes to see how they performed on the feet in their previous fights, because I feel like this is where it's going to open up the whole game plan for both fighters. With Mario Pinto having an average of 8 punches landed per minute, a 93% significant strikes, an average of 4 punches absorbed per minute with a defense of 61%, while Austen Lane, on the other hand, had an average of 3 punches landed per minute, 50% significant strikes, an average of 2 punches absorbed per minute with a defense of 40%. Now you can sit there and be like, whoa, look at Mario Pinto's. He's clearly going to win this fight because of these stats. These stats do not tell the full story, because Mario Pinto's fight only went 1 minute and 43 seconds, while Austen Lane did have a full bout. So Pinto, yeah, his stats are incredible. They look amazing. 93%, 8 minutes with only 1 minute and 43 seconds. That's still pretty impressive. But he still absorbed quite a bit in that short amount of time himself. His defense was fairly good, over half. He absorbed 4 punches, not perfect, but that is over 1 minute and 43 seconds, so 2 minutes. His significant strikes percentage, nearly a perfect one, and an 8 punches landed per minute. So he does have very good precise shot. He's good at finding the target, good at making his range. That's good to see. Austen Lane, on the other hand, he did have a full fight, and it didn't go amazing. He did land an average of 2 punches. I think I said 3, it is 2. He has a 50% significant strike, so half, that's not bad. With an average of 2 punches absorbed per minute with a defense of 40%. Now, he absorbed 2 punches average. That's not too bad, but the defense is what's the worst part. We have to keep remembering that. This is why I keep mentioning it, because we have to remember Mario Pinto didn't go a full bout. So I could sit here and be like, oh, Mario Pinto, keep it on the feet, keep it nice and rangy, keep it nice and striking, and go for the knockout. They both should go for the knockout. But I can't sit here and be like, oh yeah, he should definitely go for the knockout, because he can clearly do it. It's not an obvious thing. When you get to the fight and Mario does knock out, I think Mario knocks out. If Mario does knock out him, I can sit there and be like, yeah, it was obvious. It's not really obvious, because Austen Lane is coming with power. Mario, I think, has just a bit more power and precision with his striking. So it's hard to call right now. But obviously when the fight comes around, it'll be easier to say, yeah, I saw that coming because of what we saw in the stats. Anything can happen on the night. You can have an off night. Mario Pinto could be sick and still come in. He could be at his worst, broken leg, anything. And that could alter the fight massively, drastically. Anything can happen in the fight as well. So I don't want to sit here and be like, oh, it's obvious Mario Pinto is going to win by knockout, and what he has to do is so obvious. The game plans for both of them is obvious. Keep it on the feet, keep it striking, keep it nice and long. Use your defense, improve as you go on, and find weaknesses in your opponent's game. As much as you can sit here and say, look at the stats, Mario Pinto might have like a Sean Strickland style, which makes him so awkward. If he has power and has an awkward style, you're going to struggle getting past his reach. Maybe not even the reach. You might even struggle getting into your range because you're so uncomfortable with how he's moving that he's going to make it hard for you. Let's move on to the grappling before I keep waffling on about the significant strikes, because I could go on forever for this. But let's move on to grappling first. With Austen Lane having an average of 2 takedowns, 30% takedown accuracy, a 0% takedown defense, and a submission average of 0. While Mario Pinto, of course, has no stats recorded because he didn't go to grappling. So Mario Pinto, yes, here kind of does give away his game plan. Stay away from the grappling, strike, at least based off his previous fight, avoid the grappling, strike. Austen Lane, a little bit of a game plan opens up here. Mario Pinto is proven to be deadly on the feet, very deadly on the feet. Austen Lane does have takedown average, does have a poor takedown accuracy, but he did attempt quite a few and he got a few. So I think Austen Lane, find your range, and I want to say strike, get that knockout, go for that knockout. But all odds are against you in the feet. So Austen Lane, what I think he should do is get it down. Start with the striking, feint, get heavy. Start your game plan quick, start fast. You need to start fast, because Mario Pinto, as soon as his game plan starts and he finds his range and gets comfortable, the fight's over then. Because he's just going to build confidence and confidence and confidence and get you out there so quick. Austen Lane has to be confident quick, get in range, and with his defense, he's going to have to take some to give some to get the takedown. Mario Pinto, on the other hand, should keep it nice and long. Keep it at a distance. He can't really do that. Just keep it nice and long. Keep your strikes straight. Go for the knockout and scuff any takedown attempts that Austen Lane throws at you, and pick your shots perfectly. You've done it in your previous fight. You've done it in the contender fight. You could do it here. This is just my thoughts and my opinions though. How do I think this fight plays out? I think it stays on the feet. I think Mario Pinto finds his range, gets comfortable, starts his game plan quick, and gets not an early finish, but it will be a round 1 finish in my opinion. But that's just my thoughts and my opinions and my predictions. What do you guys think? Who do you think wins, and how do you think they win? Apart from that, I'll catch you in a bit. Take care and peace.